In my restless dreams, I see a lot of division amongst the fanbase of the Silent Hill 2 remake. If you've been living under a rock, or you just don't really use the internet very much, Silent Hill 2 remake got a lot of very, very revealing and telling footage thanks to a state of play and a Silent Hill transmission which took place on the 31st of May this year. I wanted to really wait just for a while to sort of digest what we've seen and kind of take in a lot of the minute little details before I made a video like this, because I don't want to go into too much detail, but there is some little things I would like to talk about, especially given that we have a very, very large portion of gameplay to dissect and look at. Like I said, this isn't going to be incredibly long, at least I hope not, but I just do want to kind of dive in and break down some tiny little details which I thought was super cool, as well as talk about some of the things that is absolutely flooding the community right now in regard to character models, changes, story beats, and things like that, really. I would also like to give a little thanks on my last video. I didn't actually really expect a lot of people to see that video at all, and I know that view count doesn't really look very big, but for a channel my size, I'm super surprised that it even reached that. So thank you very much if you watched that video, and if you're on this one and you haven't seen it, it is my first video essay on this channel. Video essays, I'm probably not going to stick just to Silent Hill. I want to kind of talk about other games and things, but thank you very much for watching that video if you did. So one of the first things I would like to talk about, and which I actually really liked, is the start of the gameplay footage, in which it shows James on his journey to find the radio and the wooden plank after fighting the lying figure. We're all familiar with that scene in the original game and how that turned out. He kind of went into like a sort of underpass tunnel to get those materials and fight the lying figure. In this one, it's completely different, like radically different in fact. Here we see James go through someone's backyard and then further sort of travel through towards a garage area, which I think is really cool, because it sort of reminds us of Silent Hill 1 a lot. I know it's not necessarily, you know, picture for picture replica of the town, sort of this area in Silent Hill 1, but it's very reminiscent of Silent Hill 1, especially the area with the back alleys, with the garages everywhere. It's definitely inspired from that game and not from Silent Hill 2, which a lot of people probably will complain about. They'll probably sort of see this and go, oh, they're changing things, but I actually think this is a change for the good. It shows the town is a lot more detailed and a lot larger than just travelling to an underpass from one straight road, which I think's really cool. There's actually so many references to Silent Hill 1 that we've already seen come from this game. For example, even the shopping cart in which James grabs the gun, and I believe the combat trailer, that is also a reference to an area in Silent Hill 1, which is really cool. It's these changes in areas which I think is going to either make or break this game. We've seen a lot of changes in how the hospital looks. It's not necessarily sort of like a door simulator anymore is what I would call it. It's not so much trying to go from door to door to try and find the right room. Everything in the building seems a lot more fluid as you're travelling through it. A lot of people probably won't like this, because I think for some people the anticipation when it comes to a horrific feeling in Silent Hill, especially Silent Hill 2, is, you know, taking that chance and trying to go through that door. You don't know what's on the other side. However, seeing this in the hospital and seeing how fluid it is going from room to room to try and get to the right area, there's plenty of moments in which a horrific scenario can occur. For example, we have, I believe, a lying figure crawl through the window and start crawling around in the room just out of nowhere, and that really is something that I can see happening probably quite a lot and can create some super tense gameplay. Another extremely cool little detail that they seriously did not have to add, but they went the extra mile and did, is whenever James gets a piece of information or something that he needs to mark down on his map, he automatically on his own pulls the map out of his pocket, takes a marker and marks it on the map. A lot of people for some reason were kind of worried about the map, hoping that they kept that aspect, that, you know, the marks on the map of where to go and such, but seeing this and seeing how it's being transformed for this game, a sort of naturality to how this is done, it's a really cool detail, and I can't really do anything apart from, you know, tip my hat, I suppose you can say, to the people at Bloober, because this is a really, really fun little detail. Something else that a lot of people didn't really catch, and I personally didn't catch either when I was watching the transmission, is this. Now, I'm going to try and explain this as best as I possibly can, and even try and outline it if possible, if I can, you know, kind of get, if I can kind of, you know, get it to the perfect frame. But I noticed this after Dusk Golem posted this on Twitter, and it's this moment right here when James breaks the car window in order to get the health drink. If you look extremely closely on the reflection of the back window of the car, when James approaches it, this is after he kills the first lying figure, he kills this monster. James's head is shaped like a giant triangle. Now, this may be, you know, weird for some, I suppose, but I think this is extremely, extremely cool, and such a useless detail to have, but such an immensely cool one, because it shows a level of foreshadowing in a way that's not too direct, and it's something that you would only have to really, really sit down and look for in order to look and see, which I think is really, really cool. I should have mentioned, obviously, that this is in reference to Pyramid Head, but I mean, why would I need to do that? I think everyone knows what Pyramid Head is and what he symbolises for James as a creation.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said Mary.
Something that's also grown on me a lot, and I mean a lot, since the game first got revealed back in 2022, is James' voice acting and performance. James is played by an actor called Luke Roberts, and what we heard of Luke in the original reveal trailer of the game, people were kind of on the fence a little bit about how he sounded. Some people thought that he sounded really, really good and really, really sort of dense and bland, and some people thought it was maybe too emotional and too monotone and edgy for how James should sound. I was kind of on the latter. I kind of thought that it was a bit too much. We've seen how much voice acting can really make an impact with the HD collection and how Troy Baker depicted James, which is a shame because I think Troy Baker is an extremely good voice actor. I just think he kind of overperformed for that role, and I was kind of worried that Luke Roberts was going to do the exact same, but hearing him in this big chunk of gameplay and hearing him in the other trailer, he just sounds like a guy. He just sounds like an average guy. James in the original game sounded like an average guy, but he sort of had that kind of goofy, friendly guy, sort of your average Joe type of voice. James here sounds like more of a chilled out, calm, average guy. You know what I mean? There's two forms of like average guy we can go for here, and this version is more of a sort of laid back, he just wants to get his own thing done type of guy.
Where did she go?
I don't know. Let's look around.
Someone who we didn't hear much from in the gameplay review trailer, but also someone I'm extremely excited to hear more of, is Salome Gonastatir, who plays Maria and Mary in the Silent Hill 2 remake. And to be honest, a lot of people aren't really too happy with Maria and how she's depicted in this big chunk of gameplay, which is something that I kind of want to phase the conversation into now, because it's something that I would like to drop my 2 cents on. There is a good handful of complaints about Maria in this chunk of gameplay, but the main one is her outfit. And as someone who completely prefers the original outfit, and I would like to have seen the original outfit make a return, I may anger a lot of people when I say this, but I don't really think that the outfit of the character is something that's really a necessary reflection of what the character means for James. I totally understand what Maria means for James. James sort of sees Maria as the over-sexualized version of his wife that he could never have, and the outfit reflects that as well, because it shows a lot of skin. It's very provocative for the times, it's very tacky, it's sort of, you know, your average magazine model. In fact, the outfit itself was actually designed after Christina Aguilera, I believe, at the 1999 Teens Choice Awards. So it is a shame that that outfit never really made a return, but in saying that, I think with an outfit like this, something, you know, like it's a very tight black dress, and the jacket is obviously, you know, to complement the layers of red and pink that we have lost from the original outfit. I just wish that some details from that outfit in the original game made its way over to this new one. I don't really care about the lack of skin being shown. It's just the outfit feels so bland compared to what we had originally gotten with the original game. I just personally, I would have loved for them to translate the leopard print design on her skirt from the original game over to the jacket in the new one if they were really, you know, so hell-bent on changing the design. There's plenty of ways that I could change how she looks in this remake without complaining about the lack of skin being shown. Another complaint that a lot of people have is her body proportions. A lot of people think that her body proportions are kind of off and kind of wacky, and in a way I do agree. I do 100% agree that her body proportions are quite strange. I don't really know if that's something that is attributed towards the actress, the mocap actress, or if that is something that is just, done on accident when modelling the character in the game, but it is a bit strange looking, and I really hope that Bloober Team also see that and decide to quickly fix it, because I'm no character designer by any means, but it does feel like something that can be fixed relatively quickly. Something else about Maria that a lot of people seem to just not really click with and like is her personality being shown in this chunk of gameplay, specifically how timid and shy she seems. I'm going to be perfectly honest, I don't really think we have much room to complain about that right now, simply because we almost only seen, I think, not even a full minute of her talking or acting about anything. A lot of people fail to remember, in this sort of general area, the hospital area of the game, that Maria is depicted as very timid and weak until you meet her again in the basement. She's depicted as very tired and sloppy and slow, and she just wants to lay down, and she feels quite exhausted, and that is obviously to mirror the fact that they're in the hospital, and it's to mirror the fact that his wife, Mary, felt the same way, sort of felt sick and felt exhausted and needed rest, and it's sort of being played up here in the remake, sort of to make it seem like in this area she's slowly becoming that sort of version. She's slowly becoming this timid, exhausted version of herself that just needs to lie down, and I don't really have a problem with this at all. I think she's completely fine personality-wise in this area. I don't really see where the complaints are really coming from with this. However, like I said, there's not really been a lot of Maria to actually see in this chunk of gameplay, which is surprising because it's like fucking 13 minutes long. But I can't really sit here and say that she's for sure going to be exactly like how she was in the original game, because that would be extremely one-sided of me. I understand why people are worried that the depiction of her character could change, but I think we're safe for now. We just need to see more of how she will act. And I have no doubts whatsoever when it comes to the cast of this game, specifically Salome Gunnarsdottir as Maria. I think in this clip alone, how this is done and how she sort of like introduces herself here, I think there is a layer of understanding to her character. I know people might think I'm overreacting to how I see this, but I just want you guys to look at this because it got a good little chuckle out of me when I was watching the transmission.
So I'm Luke Roberts, and I'm playing James Sunderland in the remake of Silent Hill 2.
My name is Salome Gunnarsdottir, and I play Mary/Maria.
As well as different behind-the-scenes clips that we've seen of her in the mocap area, I really, really do have faith in how she will perform as Maria. It's just up to how the character is written for the remake. One more thing about Maria that a lot of people seem to have a bit of trouble with trying to wrap their heads around for some reason. I'm not trying to sound like I'm saying this for everybody, it's just a couple of people that I've seen online kind of talk about this, is this area in the gameplay reveal right here, when Maria actually calls out to Laura as they try and sort of get to her in the hospital.
Laura! Wait!
It's okay. We don't want to hurt you.
God damn it.
A lot of people seem to think that this is going to be like the downfall of Maria as a character for some reason, because obviously, like, you know, we know she's not real, right? And she actually addresses Laura, she calls out to her, right? The thing is, the reason why people are complaining is because Maria and Laura were never in the same room. They were never together, and they never spoke, they never made eye contact, they never made skin-to-skin contact. However, a lot of people seem to think that because Maria is calling out to Laura in this scene, we're going to have some sort of like insane interaction between the two of them, and it completely defeats the existence of Maria as a character, and I think that's a little bit overkill. Maria in the original game constantly addresses Laura and recognises her existence as a real person. She constantly feels the need to try and nurture and protect Laura. She even says that herself to James in the game.
You're supposed to take care of me. So, what about Laura? Did you find her?
Yeah, but she ran away.
We've got to find her.
You really seem to care about her. Do you know her?
I've never met her before. I just feel sorry for her. She's all alone. And for some reason, I feel like it's up to me to protect her.
We even have a moment where Maria claims to have chased her down when James comes out of the bowling alley. There's certain scenes and moments in the original Silent Hill 2 where Maria does fully sort of acknowledge the existence of Laura as a real human being, and I don't really think they're changing much of that in this game. I just think that they themselves understand that's how Maria acted towards Laura as a person, and kind of just wanted to play that up and make it look a bit more sort of in your face, I suppose you could say, a little less subtlety. I know Silent Hill fans love to use that word. A little less subtlety. But I also think that this is very strategically placed as a character, because this obviously comes prior to the reveal of Maria not being a real person, and this is trying to sort of kind of pull over a blanket on that reveal, on that twist, and try and make it seem like Maria is in fact a real person and that Laura can hear her, when in fact that is not true. Laura in this scene most likely did not hear Maria call out to her because, you know, like I said, she's not a real person. She's just in James's head. And of course, I could not tiptoe around making this video without talking about the one thing that people have been non-stop clamoring on about since the reveal of the gameplay, and the trailer at the State of Play for that matter, and that is Angela. Angela is a very complicated case in this game, in my opinion. Before I continue, I would like to say that anything I say towards this character does not reflect her backstory, her story, anything like that. Anything that I'm honestly about to say about this character doesn't even really reflect any sort of in-game story relevancy. I just want to purely talk about the character model and how she looks. To start us off, I don't think Angela is ugly. I really think that people are kind of overreacting, and people are kind of feeding into the whole sort of like woke gamer movement bullshit. I don't think Angela looks ugly at all. I will, however, fully agree with a lot of people that this shot from the cemetery, from the graveyard I should say, is not a good shot and does not really flatter the character at all. I think that this is a really bad shot due to a lot of things, specifically lighting and just overall sort of like rigging, I suppose you could say, with the character. It's a really, really interesting case due to the fact that for some reason Angela as a model looks like way less developed and way less full of quality than James does in this scene, and even like Maria in just raw gameplay. She seems very underdeveloped, and I'm not really too sure if this is intentional. I'm not too sure if this was pulled from a earlier like build of the game. I'm not going to try and bring that argument back, but I just find it extremely weird. That's all. That's all I'm saying. But this shot does look very questionable. Do I think that it like is deserving of the amount of controversy that it seems to have created amongst all your kind of anti-woke bullshit YouTubers? No, I don't think so. I genuinely think that is a major overreaction, and people shouldn't really listen to that crowd, because I think they're just rage bait farmers that have nothing better to do than to try and make you angry to get money. But yes, Angela does not look the best here. However, there are plenty of shots in this trailer where she looks absolutely gorgeous. This woman here is Gianna Keel. I hope I'm pronouncing your second name right. I don't think there's any promotional material that actually verbally speaks out this actress's name, so I apologize if I got the surname wrong. But this is Gianna Keel, and she is the motion capture artist and I assume the voice actress for Angela. And there are plenty of different shots in the trailer, specifically this one where it fully captures how genuine of a human being that this person looks. I think that she will do an amazing job. I think that the trailer just didn't really flatter her looks a lot, and I just hope that a lot of people can kind of see past that. And I hope also that Bloober can see this criticism and kind of put in some fixes, because they have from now until October 8th is the release date by the way, they have from now until October to essentially bring in their skeleton crew for cleanups and polish to try and make this look a lot better, and I do believe that they will, because seeing this shot and then comparing it to the motion capture actress, they look like two completely different people, and that is kind of a bad thing. However, in this shot, when you compare it to the motion capture actress, I should say, apologies, it looks perfect. So I just hope that people can kind of be mature and look past that and just keep their fingers crossed that after the amount of criticism that Bloober has received, they will try and do their best to fix that. Okay, now, I left this part for last because I wanted to try and keep all of the sort of things I liked and general main topics in the sort of squishy center, and then you guys can just sort of come here if you're really interested on my bad takes on the game. Starting with the animations. The character animations are kinda shit. Not to sound like extremely negative, but they are kinda my bad. They are kind of they are kinda bad. There's actually a lot of moments where you can see blatant object clipping, as well as this moment when James is smacking the lying figure in the first room where you grab the wooden plank and the radio. It doesn't even hit the model, and the model takes damage, and I think that's something they do genuinely need to fix. I also think that the gun noises still don't really sound very good. I think they've changed a little bit since the combat trailer, but for some weird reason, I don't really know if I'm like becoming like a schizomaniac or something, but the gameplay trailer that they offered at the State of Play, the gun noises sound different again compared to the ones at the gameplay showcase at the Silent Hill transmission, which is crazy because the one from the trailer at the State of Play sounds a lot better and a lot more gun-like as opposed to the one that they showed in the raw gameplay. I'm not really too sure what's going on there. I can't really make up my mind about which one is actually the like main one, because as simple as it is, we don't really know how old all these trailers and gameplays are. Things could change, sound files can change, it's a fairly simple thing to change, but yeah, no, they don't really sound very good, and I know James is not an experienced fighter, he's not an experienced combat guy, but I think that the weapons he uses, for example a steel pipe and a giant wooden plank, they really lack a lot of weight to them. They don't really feel very punchy, they don't feel like you're actually like doing a lot of damage, it just feels like you're kind of giving the enemies a love tap. One thing I did notice actually with the lying figure at the beginning of the gameplay footage is they seem to have gotten rid of the QuickTime event that showed up in the combat trailer. I don't really know if that has to be triggered by something super specific from that enemy, or if they decided to just get rid of it after all the backlash, but I did not see any QuickTime event system in this gameplay showcase, which is kind of interesting. I'm not really too sure if that means they're actually listening to people, or if they just decided that was a bad idea. Who knows? Also, I think that some voice acting, specifically from Angela's side, could be a little better. I know exactly, you know, the scene from which Angela meets James at the graveyard. Angela doesn't really sound extremely natural in the original anyway, none of the characters do. But I don't know, something just sounds a bit off, which makes me just wonder if Angela's like character from that trailer is like unfinished. I don't really know. It just, there's so much quality lacking from that character in that scene compared to all the other characters in the game. So I'm not really too sure what is going on there, but either way, those are just some of my main complaints that I can really be bothered to nail down right now. And look at that, I said this wasn't going to be a long video and it ended up being like 25 minutes long, so I'm gonna shut my ass up for the future and just yap whenever I feel like it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're interested, like I said, I uploaded my first video essay on this channel, and that is a Silent Hill 2 one, fittingly enough. Thank you for watching that video if you have already, and thank you for watching this one. Not really too sure when the next video will come out. It's just a channel that I just want to upload anything on whenever I want, but whenever that may be, I will hopefully see you there. Let me know what you guys think about the Silent Hill 2 remake, if you're excited for it, if you're not excited for it, what do you like, what do you not like. Don't worry, I will read your comments, and I'll see you later.